Hi. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Reverend Veronica Valles. It is an honor and a privilege to be here. Now, I am the dancing minister, so whenever my hands are doing this, that's an invitation for us to get up and dance. So let's give our band another round of applause. So today is part 3 of the Divine Feminine Arises, inspired by Wonder Woman. We're talking about wisdom, and a reminder for our men that the Divine Feminine actually is embodied in you too, and for the women that the Divine Masculine is embodied within us, and it's the harmonizing of the two. But I'm gonna show you a 1.5-minute clip because we gotta get in the mood.
You're a man.
Yeah. I mean, do I not look like one?
You have been my greatest love. Be careful, Diana. I do not deserve you.
Have you never met a man before? I mean, what about your father?
I had no father. I was brought to life by Zeus.
Well, that's neat. Do this.
What I do is not up to you.
And the symbolism that Patty Jenkins created is actually quite powerful. The 4 themes, which is why I chose the 4 themes, are power. We talked about the power of love, allowing, accepting, and it being ignited from within. The last one was grace. How do we surrender to that which is greater, to allow that grace that is God, that is our life, to reveal itself in our life, and to be that mirror for others. But today is about wisdom. That divine wisdom that's seeking to reveal itself in our life. I love Wonder Woman because it came during a time when we as a society are awakening to the divine feminine principle. Women are rising, but men, don't worry. It's not about females taking over. It's the integration of those principles within all of us. But you're seeing this activation within women, and you're seeing this activation within men. But what I want to talk about today in regard to wisdom is the shadow side of our humanity that we are not actually shining a light on oftentimes. So what Diana represents is that awareness of the power within that she slowly awakens to. And wisdom is when her mother, first and foremost, is like, Diana has to go. She's being called. Here comes Steve Trevor. He's telling about the war that, the war of all wars. She is confronted by that there's suffering somewhere else. She's being called from within to go to some place that she doesn't even know this world. So if you've seen the movie, they're on this island, this beautiful island of women, all right? And these warrior goddesses, the Amazons, and it's all light. It's all beautiful. There's peace, and then they're preparing, just in case they're preparing. But then you see the scene that comes When Steve Trevor dives in and the German soldiers are trying to find him, they are shielded. Zeus, the god that created this, shielded them from the world of man. And you see the fog and the darkness, and all of a sudden it's penetrated by the soldiers, and all of a sudden it's this revelation that there's another world out there. And that Diana for herself, I cannot remain insulated anymore. There is something calling her. When she hears about children dying, women dying, men dying, war and suffering, she is so called from within that she literally, in the dark of night, grabs all that she needs to grab, that little does she know that she's becoming Wonder Woman. That which is already inherent within her is starting to reveal itself. But her mother comes down to the area where the boat is, and her mother pretty much is warning her that this world of men do not deserve you. And basically what she's saying is you're leaving this little sanctuary of light and safety and beauty, and you're entering in something that's so dark and so unknown. And what Diana reveals to herself as she journeys into this human realm, because she's got this whole premise of love, that love can heal all. Love is the root of our being. Love is how we connect. And yet she's confronted with humanity and the shadow side. Now, Ares, which she doesn't know, is her brother, because he's also the son of Zeus. And I think Ares has some daddy problems, if you watch the movie, all right? He's got some issues with daddy. He didn't like daddy's creations, and he wants to kill all these humans. So there's this chaos that happens, and Ares is the god of war. And he's basically, when you watch the movie, he gets to the part at the end where he's pretty much like, Diana, come to my side. You've seen their dark side. You've seen how terrible they are. They're not worthy of being alive. And within her, she knows the truth of the light and the dark in humanity. And the wisdom is that yes, what resides in us and this human experience may be that dance of light and shadows, but she hangs on to the vision that love is far stronger than all of that. So as she enters into this realm, and I won't go through the whole movie, but she's trying to find Ares so she can destroy Ares, because he is the god of war, and she feels that if Ares is destroyed, then there'll be no war. And she thinks it's Ludendorff, and they get into this great battle scene, and when he's actually killed, the war does not stop. And she's stunned. But I killed the god of war. How come they're still fighting? And all of a sudden, here comes Steve Trevor, for her to get her to help them, really end this last scene where there's this plane full of the gas that's going to kill hundreds of thousands of people. And she's like, the war should have ended. And he's like, well, because, maybe we're not all good. And they're going back and forth. And here's a point of awareness for Steve Trevor where he literally, because she's a demigod, all right? And he's talking about, maybe we're not all good, all right? Maybe we are to blame. She's like, well, I'm not to blame. He goes, but maybe I am. Maybe I, as a human, living in that shadow side of the fear, that shadow side of separation, that shadow side of limitation, that shadow side of the unknown. And in that moment, he takes accountability for the race consciousness. In that simple moment, maybe I am to blame. And not as a victim, but as let me awaken to the good that is within me, that we together can help end this war. But what Diana naively goes into, she reaches this realization that the light and the shadow reside within all humans, but they must awaken. They must awaken to the truth. So for us, and you thought it's that remembrance and understanding of our divinity. It's like this slow uncloak of all that we've been raised with to wake up to the awareness of the indwelling presence that is God, that is your very light. So when it comes in the human realm, the shadow work is simply shining a light. It's not about shame or blame, but it's like, where in my life am I actually residing in that place of separation and fear? That I'm afraid to look at my vulnerability. I'm afraid to actually talk to whatever this anger is inside of me. I'm afraid to shine a light on that little part of me that's jealous because I'm actually living in that realm of separation. And what happens in the human realm, if I don't spend that time looking at the shadow, not diving, not wearing it as a cloak, it's not my new tag. Hey, who's ever been jealous? Anybody? Ever been a little resentful? Yeah. Insecure? Vulnerable? Well, hello, shadow, my old friend, all right? So we've all experienced this. It's just a part of the awareness of the hues and the textures and the dimensions of this human realm. It is not our spiritual truth. But I do believe that sometimes we ignore it because it can be so painful. Or we hide from something because we're afraid of how people are going to react to us. And here's the deal with those feelings. On the human realm, those are natural feelings. But where we place our attention, that's where our energy goes. And oftentimes we will repress parts of ourselves because we're afraid of this dark aspect, insecurity, jealousy, whatever it is. And instead of shining a light and saying, baby, what do you need to tell me? What do I need to know? How can I shine just a little extra light on this? Now, in Wonder Woman, the shadow side is revealed by the war. It's dark. So, here you got this island that's beautiful. She gets to London. It's smoggy. It's fog. It's dark. The war is dark. And Ludendorff, the general, is that epitome of perpetuation of separation. He thrives on war. He believes war is essential to feed the god Ares, all right? He actually lends a space for the next world war. Then there's Dr. Maru, Dr. Poison, and here she's taken her genius, her creativity, but it's the misuse of the law. Instead of using that creativity for something that's expansive, expressive, beautiful, she's using it for destruction. Once again, what inside of her is seeking to heal. Ares himself, wanting to destroy humanity is not taking a look at, but yes, within all these beings is the light of God, Zeus, his father, but the God, the divinity. And you have Steve Trevor with his compassion, his willingness to sacrifice himself at the end to say, but listen, this has to stop. And Diana is like, and this is what's seeking to reveal. But it's our job to look in the mirror, lovingly, unconditionally, to take a look at maybe the beliefs that have been ingrained in us since we were little. Maybe something we see on TV. Maybe, because right now in this paradigm shift, roles are starting to reverse, but yeah, let's let go of roles. Let's stand in the awareness that the presence of God that is my life, your life, all the wisdom, all the love, all the harmony, all the peace, all the understanding is actually your divine inherent nature. And when we wake up to that, by actually aligning in that truth, we can then be with our shadows. I call it my sweet little ego. I walk with that, that little voice like, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? You can't do that, Or what's so-and-so going to think? So going back to 3 things that maybe you've wanted to do, but haven't yet. I'm just going to invite you just to close your eyes just for a moment and take one of the things that you've always just wanted to do. And imagine that you're in this beautiful safe space. It's like the circular space, and you're sitting there, and you're with the thing that you want to do, and I want you to actually shine a light on yourself. Take a moment to look for any false belief, any hidden pattern that was ingrained in you that is stopping you from even taking that first step. And shine a light unconditionally and lovingly. But just listen, because there's wisdom. Within the wounds, within the pain, within the fear, there's wisdom seeking to reveal itself. And the shadow is simply wanting to integrate into your life, but just ask yourself, what is seeking in this moment to reveal itself? So that I may step into the divinity of the I am that I am and allow this light to shine in the world. Take a moment and just listen. And when this comes to you, ask, what is the divine quality? What is that quality of God that is absolutely in this moment with my gift, that is the I am presence, that is seeking to be out in the world, to wake up this planet to the truth of the allness and wholeness of God? What is mine to be in order to share this gift in the world? And listen. And as that is revealed to you, imagine it's this beautiful ball of light, this beautiful golden ball of light. This is the light of the divine that is your very beingness. And as you take that shadow aspect of yourself and bless it for the wisdom that was revealed in that moment, I ask you to take that and integrate it in that ball of light. And almost as if you're cascading light into your crown chakra, raise your hands, bring that light, bring it to the top of your head, and allow it literally just to flow in through and as your being. And as you're doing that, allow it to sweep out anything, any belief, any pattern that is trying to keep you limited. And to know that the light is the power and presence of God. The light always reveals divine right action, divine order. The light is your essential nature and is seeking to reveal itself as your life now. And what is the one thing in this moment that you can commit to? Your one first step that you can commit to. Now open your eyes. Whatever the quality of God that is seeking to express as you is already residing in, through, and as your life. Right here, right now. Whatever is seeking to express and to be brought forth into this world is so necessary at this time. If Diana had said no, because, hey, not my planet, not going to do it. God, that sounds like a lot of trouble. You know, I don't think they're going to be really nice on this planet because I've heard things about men. Imagine her not answering that call. If there is frustration, discontent in your life right now, you are being called. Something within you is asking you to emerge into that greater reality, into the Wonder Woman or Superman that you are. It is stepping into that realization that it has nothing to do with you. It's God. It's God. It's divine. And it's also absolutely understanding that as we walk this world, because as she and Steve Trevor are going across the bridge and she's seeing the wounded and it's hitting her hard, and he looks at her, he goes, that's why we're here. So the question I ask is, why are you here? Not here at Agape, but why are you here on this planet? Because there is something that is exquisitely yours that is seeking to express. And when we listen to the wisdom of the one mind that is God, when we allow ourselves to be pulled by that vision, when we allow that light just to bathe us in grace so that when we do go out into the world, it could be a little icky and sticky, all right? It's not always like love and light. Been there, done that, you know, where you go into a situation, it's like, you know, like in Ghostbusters when they got slimed, it's like, oh, that was a little slimy. But when have I allowed my fear to do that? The shadow will project. The shadow will react. But the light is always brilliantly present. So I'm inviting you to step into the wisdom that is God as Wonder Woman's power for men, whatever is your archetype, because for me, that archetype, because she is so clear. Because at the end, there's that battle between her and Ares, and he's like, you know, he's trying to get her to destroy humans. And she's so clear in that moment that, yes, the darkness may reside in them, but I know the light and the love that is possible. And my job is to stay, to give, and to fight for the greater being of each person. That when we encounter challenging moments or situations, just turn on the 6 o'clock news, then instead of just going off into that projection and that reaction, it's like, so where in my life, and am I actually maybe participating in something that may be a little out of integrity? And what do I need to do to shine a light on that? Where do I actually need to show up? So I'm not just turning my back on suffering, but like, you know, my mother's screaming at the TV and she's reacting. I'm like, Ma, can you just donate $10 to this organization? I mean, I'm not judging, but I'm serious. It's like there's sometimes we feel so overwhelmed. Sometimes it's so big. Sometimes it's I don't understand. Sometimes it's I don't want to see it. It's like, but each one of us is that point of which spirit shows up. And seriously, imagine $10 over here, 10 minutes over there, an hour mentoring a child, visiting someone who's sick, uplifting your friends and supporting their gifts, that one place from which wisdom can reveal itself, that you become that place, that safe space from which wisdom that is your life mirrors to other people the possibilities. So I'm inviting you to shine a light on your shadow and embrace it. Until we embrace our full complexity of our humanity and our divinity, that's why we're here on this planet. Each one of you a perfect, individualized, magnificent incarnation of God with all of our quirky personalities, where I can look at myself going, that's funny. Where you can love yourself going, wow, yeah, I did that. Okay, great, And when we meet people, the scene after they freed the village and Charlie the sharpshooter can shoot, and next day, he's like, maybe I don't need to be here, and Diana's like, but who would sing for us? But before that scene, she's talking to, I think his name is Samir, and he's talking, she's like, well, for all of his talk about being a sharpshooter, and he looked at her and he goes, we all have our inner battles. We're all fighting something. He goes, just like you. But my invitation is not just to fight it. My invitation is to embrace it. That's why when we do the classes here, we do our spiritual practice, we align in our visioning, we are embracing all that is part of our humanity. We're taking all that has happened in the past and bringing it forward, because if it hadn't happened, I would not be standing here. I would not be standing here if all this didn't happen for me to be here and to share with you the possibilities that when we're willing to look in the mirror, when we're willing to awaken to the light that is God, when we're willing to be that love made manifest, when we're willing to look beyond the dance of the shadows, but to embrace them, saying, but that is not real. That's part of the human experience. But what I know that all things are possible in God. All things are possible when I align in love. All things are possible when I allow wisdom to reveal itself, because there's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life. That life is your life. That's the unity principle from which we base our entire teachings. And that the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, the eternal presence is made manifest. So turn to the person next to you and share one thing that you're willing to step into. And what is the God quality seeking to reveal itself? Just one thing, real quick. Just because of time, real quick. And just because of time, I'm going to invite you after this service to you go have a snack, all right? But I invite you to connect with each other. I invite you to be that space, that place from which wisdom says yes. I invite you to be that mirror of possibilities. I invite you to be willing to love yourself just the way that you are. That you are ignited from within to actually be in the world, because we must actually confront suffering. We can't say, it's all good. No, that is actually not good. Will good come of it? Yes, but guess who's being called? Us. Each one of us is being called to add our light. Each one of us is being called that whatever that gift that's seeking to reveal itself to be poured forth, that light in, through, and as you. We're being called to connect in community. We're being called to notice that if someone is suffering, that we're not going to judge them. We're going to be that light. We're going to be that place of love. We're going to be the opportunity of the remembrance. So whatever that one thing that is yours, because if it wasn't yours, it wouldn't have come to you. I'm going to invite you this week to take the steps for that one thing. But not from the place of, oh, I can't. Oh, I'm not good enough. I want you to step into that archetype of Wonder Woman, but really, I want you to step in to the power and the presence. That is God. That is your beingness. Because it's not the ego, it is your light. It is love. It is truth. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it is necessary. We come together in this community, we understand these principles, we practice them every single day, because it's in those moments when it's the most challenging that we draw from that inner strength and that inner wisdom, that vitality that is God, that is seeking to express as us, and that is our touchstone of truth.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.